Legislative elections were held in Indonesia on April 9, 2014 to elect 136 members of the Regional Representative Council, 560 members of the People's Representative Council and members of regional assemblies at the provincial and regency municipality level. For eligible voters residing outside Indonesia, elections were held on 5 or 6 April 2014 based on the decision of Electoral Commission of each different countries. Seats up for election. Parties contesting the elections, a total of 46 parties registered to take part in the election nationwide, from which only 12 parties passed the requirement set by the General Elections Commission. To contest the elections, all parties must have a branch office and branch in every province, a branch office and branch at least 75% of the regencies or municipalities in every province, a branch in at least 50% of the districts in every regency or municipality, at least 1,000 registered members. In addition, at least one-third of each party's candidates must be female. Initially all parties with seats in the People's Representative Council were to be allowed to contest the election without the need for verification, but on August 29, 2012, Indonesia's Constitutional Court overturned this provision, obliging all parties to undergo the process. The results of this election will be instrumental to the presidential election in July due to the requirement that a presidential ticket must be supported by a party or a coalition of parties winning at least 20% of the seats or 25% of the popular votes in the legislative election. The 12 national and 3 Aceh parties, together with their ballot numbers are, National Democratic Party, National Awakening Party, Prosperous Justice Party, Indonesian Democratic Party, a Euro Struggle, Party of the Functional Groups, Great Indonesia Movement Party, Democratic Party, National Mandate Party, United Development Party, People's Conscience Party, Aceh Peace Party, Aceh National Party, Aceh Party, Crescent Star Party, Indonesian Justice and Unity Party. Election schedule. The schedule for the elections, as determined by the Indonesian General Elections Commission, is as follows. Electoral system. On polling day, voters would be given 4 ballot papers, 1 each for the National People's Representative Council and Regional Representative Council and 1 each for their local provincial and regency municipality regional representative councils. Candidates for the DPA and DPRDI2 stand on a party platform. The ballot papers had a section for each of the parties with the party number and symbol. Under the symbols, that party's candidates would be listed. Voters can vote for just the party, or one of the candidates by punching a hole in the ballot paper with the tool provided. Candidates for the DPD stand on an individual basis, so voters simply need to punch a hole in the candidate's picture, ballot number or name. Allocation of seats equals. For the People's Representative Council election, each province has been divided into between 1 and 11 electoral districts depending on population. Each of these electoral districts will elect between 3 and 10 members. Once the votes are counted, the General Elections Commission will eliminate any party that has failed to obtain an 3.5% share of the national vote. It will then allocate seats in the People's Representative Council via a 2-stage process. First, the number of votes to secure 1 DPR seat in each electoral district will be calculated by dividing the number of valid votes by the number of seats to be elected in each district. Each party's vote in each district will be divided by this amount to determine the number of seats won outright. Any party with less than this amount will win no seats in this first stage. The remaining votes will then be used to determine which party wins any seats so far unallocated by awarding these seats to the parties with the largest remainders until all seats are allocated. Only parties with at least 25% of the popular vote or that control 20% of seats in the DPR will be able to nominate candidates for the presidential election. Parties that do not fulfill the percentage must form a coalition with other parties so that they fulfill enough percentage to nominate a candidate. Opinion polls. Numerous opinion polls have been done by many different pollsters to gauge the voting intention of the electorate. However, many of them are regarded to be unreliable. The quality of polling in Indonesia varies considerably. Further, some of the polling institutions provide little information about their polling methods. The data set out below should therefore be treated with care. Results: Indonesian Democratic Party Struggle won the election by 18.95% votes, followed by Golkar with 14.75% votes and Great Indonesia Movement Party with 11.81% vote. However, neither of the parties can submit their own presidential candidate for the next 2014 Indonesian presidential election because none of them reached the electoral threshold for the presidential election, 20%. Gallery. References